Hello friends, welcome back to Block Bytes. One project that has always impressed me is Filecoin. But what blew my mind is their master plan. In this video, we will look at this master plan. Before that, I recommend watching this 9-minute video to understand the basics of Filecoin. Let's start. Filecoin is a layer 1 blockchain that provides decentralized storage for applications. It is one of the finest crypto adoption stories and one that does not get enough coverage. Late last year, Filecoin unveiled its master plan, according to which they want to skyrocket Filecoin out of Web3 and compete with Web2 counterparts like Google and Amazon Web Services. At the Protocol Labs Summit in Istanbul this year, Filecoin reiterated its master plan. The plan has 3 points. First, build the largest storage network. Second, onboard and safeguard humanity's data. And third, bring compute to enable application development. On point number 1, Colin Evren of Protocol Labs feels it has largely accomplished this goal. He said, Filecoin powers 99% of total Web3 capacity and storage utilization, and added that Filecoin has 3,300 storage providers across 40 different countries, equaling a total of 10 exabytes or 10 million terabytes of storage capacity, making it bigger than many centralized players in the Web2 world. On the demand side, the numbers look even better. Here is an excellent comparative chart between supply and demand, according to Misari. What is interesting, however, is to see how the supply is constantly dropping vis-a-vis its demand. The biggest reason for storage providers dropping off the network is the reduction in their revenue due to the drop in the price of the FIL token, thanks to the bear market. In US dollars, the supply side revenue was reduced by more than half compared to last year. But at the same time, the demand is picking up, as seen by the green line. Filecoin is doing several things to address the supply side problem. First, it is making onboarding more straightforward for storage providers. To remove as many hurdles to joining the Filecoin decentralized storage ecosystem as feasible, servers.com and Filecoin have collaborated to provide data centers on demand. The modular OPEX-only data center solution is now the quickest, easiest, and the most dependable method to become a Filecoin storage provider. According to them, this will reduce the onboarding process to 6 to 8 weeks from the current 6 to 12 months. Second, reducing storage costs. Filecoin has introduced synthetic PO-REP to drastically reduce storage requirements, saving up to 98% of storage space and lowering gas costs for storage providers. And third, improving data retrieval. Data storage is but just one aspect of the business. Data retrieval is equally essential. So Filecoin has built a decentralized content delivery network called Saturn. Saturn will enable fast and low-cost content delivery to businesses looking at Filecoin for their storage needs, enabling more growth and revenue. These changes will make it more attractive for storage providers to remain with the network. The next point is to onboard and safeguard humanity's data. Since the start of this year, more than 2 million terabytes of client data has been stored on its network, which is an increase of 4 times, something we have seen in the demand graph earlier. 2 million terabytes of data is equivalent to 10 million 1080p movies. They have over 1,800 customers spread across academia and research primarily. It is essential to understand that Filecoin as it stands today is mainly for cold storage, meaning storage for archival and retrieval. This kind of data is not frequently accessed as opposed to a movie streaming service or enterprise cloud storage. And finally, point number 3 is to bring compute to data to enable Web3 applications. Filecoin understands that if it wants to take on the likes of AWS and Google Cloud, it needs to build its own services and products on top of the underlying storage layer, just like AWS. For this to happen, a set of tools and platform must be created where developers can come in and create these products and services. Filecoin is building 3 individual pieces of technology to enable this. First is the Filecoin virtual machine. Second is compute over data. And third is Interplanetary Consensus. Let's look at them individually. Filecoin virtual machine was released in March of this year and brings the power of smart contracts to Filecoin. Doing this will open the floodgates of application development, bringing in developers, liquidity, and activity never before seen by the network. And this is precisely what happened. The TVL, or the total value locked on the Filecoin network, has seen a monthly increase of 46% since March, making it the 25th largest blockchain by TVL. The network currently has 115 decentralized applications from 200 teams, running with more than 2,000 contracts deployed, used by 560,000 unique users, and generating over 1.6 million transactions. Let's look at the next piece of tech called compute over data, which I found very interesting. By now, we understand that Filecoin is a network of decentralized, decentralized storage providers around the world. These storage providers store the customer data, which is needed by applications. The problem is that the data volumes are constantly rising. They are also growing 45% more than the network bandwidth, which results in increased congestion, slower results generated by applications, and eventually lousy user experience. But what if there was a way in which applications would not need to download all this data? Instead, the code could travel to the data location and return the results back to the application. This, my friends, is what compute over data entails. Filecoin project Bacalhau, which is Portuguese for cord and matches with compute over data, is an open source platform for fast, cost-efficient, and secure computation that enables applications to run compute jobs where the data is located. Since these jobs will use any underutilized CPU or GPU network, or rather CPU or GPU resources on the data location, Bacalhau helps create an off-chain distributed compute environment for applications running on Filecoin. The final piece of tech is called Interplanetary Consensus, or IPC. IPC wants to bring scalability to Filecoin. It allows for the on-demand creation of what are called subnets, which are like sidechains on top of primary layer ones. These subnets allow for scaling transaction volume and speed from the current hundreds of TPS to potentially billions of transactions per second. IPC is in testnet and will be made public early next year. All right, all this sounds great. We understand all the hard work that the Filecoin ecosystem has put in the bear market. And indeed, they will receive the fruits of their labor going forward. But how is the network doing right now? For this, let's look at some metrics. price action. The year-to-date price has been mostly negative, but there has been a renewed upswing since the end of October. Fees and supply fees. The fees have been reduced, as we have discussed before. The good thing is that the project is aware of this and is working on addressing it. The revenue versus earnings. Since the fees are down, so is its revenue. The project is in negative earnings territory, meaning it spends money instead of earnings. This is again related to the supply fee issue, but we can see a slight improvement in its earnings. Developers and commits. The number of core developers has decreased, but the code commits remain the same, meaning the amount of work has not been reduced with the reduction in the number of devs, which is good. As for tokenomics, FIL has a fixed supply of 2 billion, but the circulating supply stands only at over 470 million tokens. The good thing is that there are no planned unlocks. Instead, the supply rate depends on the network usage. However, it is an inflationary token, as the reduction in supply by burning is not enough to overtake the demand. The good news is that as the number of dApps on FVM grows, the more the demand for its block space results in more FIL token burns. So after conquering the Web3 world, Filecoin has set its eyes on the Web2 world, where it wants to compete with AWS and Google. To do this, it has a master plan and has implemented several new changes to its network. These changes will bring more apps to the network. However, they will be focused on storage, retrieval, and computation, unlike more general purpose layer ones like Ethereum or Solana. With IPC, Filecoin will add parallelism to its network structure, where it can create tens or hundreds of faster side chains called subnets, which will increase its scalability needs. All this will indeed have an impact on the price of the FIL token. However, it is struggling with earnings, and its core developer count has come down, even though the amount of work has remained the same. The FIL token will remain inflationary for some time. Still, it will surely see positive price action in the coming times. I hope you like this video. Do like and share. And I will see you next time with another fresh bite. Bye.